From Jacob. Hello, Sir Klavan. How should one go about arguing for same-sex marriage on the grounds of freedom, but against incest with a secular argument and taking out the argument that it could be harmful to a child from an incestuous marriage? Well, first, and with one hand tied behind my back while standing on my head. First of all, you can't make any moral argument. There are no secular moral arguments. There's no secular moral arguments. You can prove this to yourself with a little handy-dandy experiment. Go in and try and make a secular argument to yourself, and then after each argument you make, ask yourself why, or why you should care. So if you say, well, it's for the good of society, say, why should I care about the good of society? Why shouldn't I care about my own good? If they say, well, it'll make you happy, well, somebody else could say, no, an incestuous marriage would make me happy. There are only moral arguments. I mean, we talked about this last week, about the fact that the very word morality, in the sense that we understand it, only came into use in the 16th and 17th centuries. That word didn't exist in classical Greece and Athens. They used the word ethics, and it was translated as moralis in Latin, but it wasn't morality as we understand it. You cannot make an argument without God. And by the way, since I feel that what is behind this question is a challenge to my sense that, like, gay marriage, I don't get all excited about it. My point about gay marriage, listen, marriage, as we understand it, is an invention of the church to protect women. That's why it was invented, to protect women and to basically organize society into a family so that becomes a building block of freedom. If a family is a self-governing unit, you don't have to bring the government in to govern it. We know that the left hates the family because they want the government to come in and govern everybody's life. Okay, fine. And my opinion is that that was the definition of marriage for 2,000 years. 2,000 years, the definition of marriage was a man and a woman having children. More than 2,000 years. I mean, except for the fact that there was, more, you could marry more than one woman in a lot of places. That was the definition of marriage. Just because you declare that gay people can get married doesn't mean it's marriage by that definition. My point about marriage is marriage stopped being marriage when you invented no-fault divorce. That was Reagan, by the way, back in California, invented no-fault divorce. My point is, if heterosexuals destroy marriage by having no-fault divorce, don't blame gay people. Don't blame gay people that they're saying, well, if you can redefine a marriage so you can have a divorce without any consequences, we want to play. We want to play that game, you know? That's my only point about that. It's not that, oh yes, this is not changing the entire definition of marriage. It is. So anyway, the point about incest is, you're right. It's a slippery slope. Once you start allowing people to do things, that argument is going to work for all kinds of terrible things that people do. My whole argument, the whole thing that I've been trying to say for the last, what have I been doing this now, 2-3 years? I mean, the whole thing is that we have lost touch with what causes, not with the rules. Everybody wants the rules. Everybody wants to know what the rules are. You can't know the rules if you don't know what virtue is, if you don't know what right and wrong is. And you can't know what right and wrong is unless you know what a person is for. Once you know what a person is for, you can have all kinds of debates about right and wrong. You know, I think I just said this about Ed Feser, that, you know, we had a debate about gay marriage and we were both debating the same thing. We both agreed that sex was for a certain purpose. I had a more broad idea of how you could use sex in different ways. He had a more stringent idea about it, but we both agreed that people were for things. Sex was for something. If you lose that idea, as we have, you can't make any arguments at all.